Hey guys, and welcome back to Boulders and Heretics podcast. I'm your host Dan, and on today's episode, I got two special guests. They're going to be talking to you about a project that they've been working on. They'll be giving you all the details about that. But before we jump into that, I just want to let you guys know new month means new giveaway. This month's giveaway is going to be a Chaos Space Marine Start Collecting box. So, just like last month, all you guys have to do is go onto Facebook and Instagram, find the picture, leave a like and comment on it, and you'll be automatically entered in to win. So now we'll do a little shout out to the sponsors and we'll dive right into the episode. So just want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. Up first, we got the guys down at the Comic Hunter. For you guys, the listeners, they want to give you a little bit of a bonus. If you jump over to their website, thecomichunter.net, they want to give you guys 10% off all online orders containing GW products. If there's something that you can't find on their website, they'll be more than happy to help you out. If you jump over to their Facebook page, The Comic Hunter Moncton, send them a message with anything that you are looking for. They'll definitely be able to hook you guys up. So once your online cart is nice and full of GW products, all you gotta do is enter promo code BHORCAugust, and that's how you're gonna get your 10% off your orders. Up next, we got the guys down at Level Up Wargaming. They're a local wargaming club that myself and a lot of members of Boulders and Heretics go each week to get our fill of wargaming in. So if you jump over to their Facebook page, Level Up Wargaming Moncton, you'll be able to keep up to date with which games are being played which nights. And if you're looking to get a game in an off night, leave a message on the board and I'm sure somebody will be more than happy to reply and get a game in with you. So let's dive right back into the episode. All right, guys, and welcome back. So, joining me on today's episode, we have Alex Harris
Hey, coming at you from Armocto.
and Chris Cowie.
Hey, how you doing?
So, on today's episode, we're going to be breaking down a little bit of a project that these guys have been working on. So, I'll pass it over to you guys and take her away.
You want me to start?
Why not?
Well, we're starting something called the GZ Eternal War series. Basically, our plan is to run monthly smaller events, anywhere from 12 to 16 people, depending on space. We're hoping that we can get a quarterly larger event in, again, depending on COVID restrictions, space, and I guess interest, depending if the community wants to come together and get a 30-man event going. Other than that, we're investing a lot of time. A couple of us investing some decent dollars into some really nice terrain. Currently, it is stuck in Ontario, and we're hoping to have that next month at the latest. We're formulated a plan how to ship that down here. But we have 15 beautiful new tables, all with mats, beautiful terrain, theme tables. Yeah, just to make the experience just that much better, that much more enjoyable, I guess.
And to be honest, like sometimes walking into a store and seeing these beautiful setup tables really draw you to, and you're like, oh man, like I really want to get playing on that table rather than walk in some styrofoam boxes and
Yeah, it's hard. Like, there's a lot to be said about just like immersion. I know a lot of competitive people don't really, don't really pay it too much mind. Just the whole immersion side of the game. But like, you're spending your time getting your models and buying them, and it is set in a universe, and sometimes it's nice to put them on the table and really feel like you're fighting a battle in the 41st millennium.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice when the terrain you're playing on, particularly at an event where you usually try to paint your models, base your models for, are not playing on gray plastic terrain or white styrofoam. So there's something to be said about like the investment both of time and money that goes into having those kind of boards. And let's not sell ourselves short. We're trying to do this actually pretty soon. The first event is only going to be in a couple days, this coming Saturday. So I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we're trying the first tournament under the pandemic quite soon here.
Okay, hopefully this episode will hopefully be out tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, so we'll definitely be shouting out that tournament, get people in the know, and yeah,
Couldn't help the plug.
yeah. Hey,
No,
plug away. I mean, it's all part of the program, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and moving like yeah, so there's the or the GZ Eternal War series that Chris was talking about. Obviously focusing around Gamezilla St. John, but that's also part of a larger project that him and I are undertaking, which is World's Edge Wargaming, which is what we're part of like a multi-year initiative for the two of us trying to get the community coming out to more events, interacting with each other more often, and kind of breaking out of the cliques that naturally exist in a war game of this style. So really the Gamezilla Eternal series is the mechanism for us to get people out to events and the events themselves, but as well we're coupling that with the attempt to create some kind of brand or club around the River Valley area. So when I say River Valley, for those of us maybe outside of it, I'm referring to Fredericton, Armucto, and St. John.
Okay.
Which I can't lie, I'm watching the Moncton community be as cohesive as it is. I'm a little bit jealous, so we're trying to pull our communities a bit closer together.
No, definitely. Like I said, myself, we're based out of Moncton, and that was the big goal of Bolters and Heretics was perfectly what you're saying right now is bring the community together, make it grow as a whole. And I think what you guys are doing right now is honestly in the right direction. And I am hoping once people actually listen to this, that it'll kind of give them that little kick in the ass to be like, you know what, this sounds great. Like I would love to do something like this in my area, but I don't know how to start. So I'm hoping after listening to this, it would kind of give them that information to really go forth and actually do this on their own time in their areas.
It is a time investment, but I like highly encourage it. It's to bring the community together. Like I know there's a lot of people that play within the Fredericton, Armucto, and St. John area, and breaking that. I don't know what. Just breaking down the barriers between just play groups in and of themselves is kind of what we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of time investment, but if we have a more cohesive community at the end and are able to come out and enjoy one day or a 2-day or kind of event every so often and just have a good time, that's what we're here for.
And what's kind of cool in a situation like that, like you were saying, how like each area has kind of like sub areas that play, but not necessarily together. That it's almost like a perfect opportunity to be like, make yourself a team. Like you represent either this store, you represent this area. So like whenever you turn up to these tournaments, like hey, throw on like a team T-shirt or something like that, and that's still like being super involved in the community with it, being like, hey, we're team blah 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 store, and then you see 5 other guys walking up, team this and that. But like I said, at the end of the day, this tournament is what's bringing everybody together and stuff. So like stuff like that is to me is very interesting, just to see the diverse people that are kind of the play by themselves, but then like I said, they come together whenever like the bigger picture arrives, I guess, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I'll give a big shout out because I know a lot of people are looking at like, well, does this include me, or like is there a bigger community at large to play Warhammer or other kind of war games? And in Fredericton you have people that go to Comic Hunter, you have people that go to Gamezilla. There's the campus. When I was on campus at UNB, we had a Warhammer club that I'll be honest, didn't really interact with the wider community very well, despite the fact that a lot of us were there for 4 or 5 years. Then you get into Armucto, you've got the base, which, as you know, any military town tends to have a large number of wargamers. There's actually a club there, the Armucto Gaming Club, that play regularly on base or in some guy's basement. So
Nice.
There's that community. And then I know that St. John would put us all to shame with the amount of wargamers they have playing in their basements. And we're just hoping to, get all these people out competing with one another, getting their models painted, and having a great time together. So yeah, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all the communities out there that we're deliberately targeting. And if we missed you, please let us know. I want to know if there are other people playing games out there that I haven't really hit on. Like if there's a huge community in Wellsford, please, hit me up on Facebook. I'd love to talk.
Yeah, and like I said, at the end of the episode, we're definitely going to give a lot of we're going to give you guys the information on where to reach us, like myself at Boulders and Heretics, to reach you, Alex, or you reach you, Chris. And like I said, if you have questions with what you're hearing today, and even if you want to get a little bit of information, like I said, if you want to start something, reach out to us, and we'll definitely help you guys out as much as we can.
Yeah, it hasn't been like a quick decision, kind of coming to the idea of Alex and I. And really, like Sandy from Gamezilla St. John has been a huge driver for this as well, because he wants to have some of the St. John community come back together, because the St. John community used to be really strong, and he's putting a lot of time and effort into this too.
Yes.
And it's not a quick road. It's not you just decide you want to start hosting events and stuff. Like it takes a little bit of legwork. It's worth it. Kind of one of the reasons it's both Alex and I is because in the beginning it was mostly Alex. Well, it was all Alex really doing most of the events in Fredericton, and he kind of I kind of want to give him the opportunity to play at events, because usually when you're the TO, you either set yourself up as the ringer, so if you have an odd number of people you get to play, or whatnot, but it usually ended up that he wasn't able to play, and there was a vacancy in St. John of anybody kind of putting events together. We kind of started this journey, I suppose, last year.
Okay, well, actually, if you guys don't mind, if you have the time, like if we want to backtrack a couple years and actually give your thought process on how you became to this decision, and again, it'll give the listeners kind of a little bit of details on how it happened, like kind of, because you were saying yourself, Alex, where you were kind of gone away for a little bit, and when you came back, let's start from there. Like how did this become?
Where did this all begin?
Yes.
Cool. Well, I've been playing war games for a fairly long time. I remember buying my first Ultramarines when I was 9. So we're going back to early 3rd edition. But like a lot of East Coasters, I ended up getting a job in Alberta, leaving. There was a thriving community. I remember coming to events all the time, traveling to Moncton, as well as playing I think like almost monthly in Fredericton, having a tournament. And when I came back, that had mostly gone away. The TO that was traditionally running things was kind of taking a step back from running the events. Still very active in the community, still a great community resource, just wasn't necessarily running the events anymore. And I was really, I had that that eagerness to, especially having been in Alberta where there was such a big community in Edmonton. I really wanted to see events taking place in Fredericton, and that just happened to it happened at the same time as 8th edition was coming out, and I was just in love with the edition. So I was like, no, we've got to be running events. This has got to be happening. Let's go back to where we were before, and then let's make it bigger and better. So if anybody's out there wondering, like, hey, I've got a community, let's say you're in Miramichi, you're in Bathurst, you're in Charlottetown, you're like, hey, where do I start? The first thing I would say is reach out to the people in your community and ask what's going on. That's the first thing I did. I asked John C. He was the individual running a lot of the events before I left, and got the lowdown from him, figured out what resources, what people were around, and then I reached out to our friendly local game store, which in Fredericton was primarily Gamezilla. Since then, Comic Hunter has also opened up in Fredericton, and they're open to Wargaming as well. But I reached out to the manager. They were, super helpful. They want to run events because they want to see the communities and the games, doing well. Because at the end of the day, if there's more people playing, that means more sales for them.
Definitely.
So, it's a really reciprocal relationship. And Mandy and the team over at Gamezilla Fredericton really supported me, and basically got to a routine where we were. Now include. Okay, sorry, you're gonna have to cut that out. Sorry.
No worry, I
we
see
got
it too,
a
and I was just like,
Zoom alert
oh.
there. I was like, oh God, are we about to turn off? Did we reach the end of our time?
We are good. We are good.
Fear manifesting. But yeah, so I talked to Gamezilla extensively. We got some events going. I was blown away with the community response, but I learned a lot of lessons. The first 2 or 3 events were a bit rough. I got to take a lot of feedback from the community and really internalize that and try to make the events a bit better. And then it almost became second nature. The effort on my part diminished with every preceding event because it became such a second nature. I built up the resources for it. But for anyone out there looking to start, have a bit of grit, stick with it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your events will get better as you go.
No, it's true. Like I've been to events myself where it's like, oh, great, 4 people showed up. And yeah, it could be a little demoralizing being like, well, what's the point of running another tournament if only 4 people's going to show up? Keep in mind, like, that's one tournament. The next tournament you run, you might get 16 to 20 people. So, like, don't take that first hit as well, it's not going to work. Like Alex was saying, you got to work. You got to put work into it. You got to get it going, and you got to put the time, and eventually it will get built up to where you would like.
Yeah. And you know what? You got 4 people come out. Make it a fun day with 4 people who love Warhammer, and then encourage them to bring 1 friend.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. Like, don't get discouraged if you have a few events that are hit and miss and the community seems cold on it. It's just a matter of plugging away. Like, we've had some events where it seems like nobody's going to be there, or maybe 6 people show up. I think I ran one in St. John where it was like 8 people, and I was kind of discouraged about that. But I mean, it was still 8 people, and from that, they sprung like a slow grow campaign within the St. John community itself. So people who normally don't come out to play together as a group decide to get together collectively, and they put together a wonderful slow grow.
And that's what's nice about tournaments. You get to know more people, and like you said, then a lot of times it could accumulate to weekly events in that area. Like you said, it's slow grow campaign. Like we do a couple of those in Moncton per year, and you see a lot of new faces that join in because like, oh, it's a low point army cost, and slowly gets you into it. And like I said, it's the connection with the people in the area that really makes the big difference.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get daunted by the idea of an event or a tournament. But like for newer players, in my personal opinion, the best way to jump into the game is just cut your teeth on an event. Like there's nobody out there who's more helpful than an opponent across from you. Like I find our community is just wonderfully helpful to new players. Like I just don't, if there's somebody listening to this that they're wondering whether they should come out because they don't know a lot about the rules or really about the game, just come out. It's enjoyable. You get a whole day of learning and fun, and nobody's going to begrudge you for not knowing, X rule or.
Well, listen, everybody has to start somewhere. If you don't take that first step, you're never going to get that first step. So, no, definitely.
I took quite a lengthy break between 5th and 7th. And I remember I come back in 7th, and I remembered very little of the game. And my very first, I put an army together, and the first thing I went to was one of the Horus Heresy tournaments when they were being held in Ormukto. And some of my poor opponents, we didn't get past turn 2, but I don't think any of them were salty about it. But I don't know. It's a great way to learn the game.
And that's what's great about wargaming community is the community. It's like the game. Don't get me wrong, the game. I love the game, but when you're being able to play with an opponent that's just friendly, you're chatting it up while you're playing, and like that makes the event. It's just like I said, that interaction with the people in the area, and it definitely makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, Chris, we became. I'm glad you brought up the Horus Heresy events.
Yeah, we met at Horus Heresy. We
met
became
at those
friends from
events.
Horus Heresy. Yeah.
So this is where this relationship began then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Began with heresy.
grown to so much more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good events, and you know that
Yeah.
was the beauty. Those events were just super fun, and we were all learning Horus Heresy at the time. Nobody knew what things were going on, and I think that speaks to what Chris was talking about. Is just like how fantastic this community is. Half the people wouldn't know how to play Horus Heresy, and not that it was particularly different than 7th edition, but army rules were completely different. Units were completely foreign to us, and all the legions had special rules, or like, oh, this can do what? And
Yeah.
Chris, I know you played Custodes, so you get a say. But
yeah, it was kind of easy button.
but yeah, it was really fantastic, and I can say everybody that went to those events, I would happily play, in their basement or at Gamezilla any day. So. Those are the kind of things we're really trying to emulate in the bigger 40K community, because there's a lot more people that play 40K than Horus Heresy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Anytime you say wargaming, 40K, right? Because obviously, like I said, it's reign supreme king right now of all wargaming, essentially. So
yeah. So that's.
I think as World's Edge, like I hope our vision in the future is that we pick up somebody who wants to start hosting Age of Sigmar. I know Alex and I are slowly starting to dip our feet into the.
It's definitely
Sigmar.
fun. Like I actually help run the AOS here in Moncton, and yeah, I'll get you guys hooked up. Come on.
yeah. As I stare guiltily at my half-built Lumineth Realm Lord starter box.
Oh, you mean the guys that are sitting half built on my shelf right now? Yeah, great.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm referring to. So, but yes, like that's and I think as well. Like I love that model.
Oh, it's a gorgeous model.
That was
Light of Orathian.
There you go. And I love that model. But the communities, obviously we're talking about like Warhammer or Games Workshop games.
Yes.
But I think in general wargaming as a hobby is a very very open place, and I'll do the same thing Chris did. I'll encourage everyone, come out, have fun, learn, make mistakes. And you know what? You'll get it next time or the time after that. It's more about having fun.
And definitely.
To those who are like, oh, it's too competitive. Listen, we're not Toronto. We're not chasing the meta. We have our own weird fun meta. So please.
It's like meta. You mean me running up 80 Khorne Berserkers and just just hoping for the best, right?
I ran an Avatar of Cain for a long time because I was like, that's a damn cool model. So.
Yeah, I think people may have a misconception. I know Alex and I both enjoy the ITC and like competitive play very much. I'd like to put it out there that our events aren't going to be all ITC based. They're not going to be all like ultra competitive based. We're going to have fun doubles events. We're going to have a sprinkling here and there of a competitive event. Probably some of the bigger ones. I'd like to run a really big doubles event at some point, but most of the quarterly ones, I think we would run as an ITC event, just because I think we would get more interest from broader communities that way. But like the one that we're having this weekend, it's 1,000 points, and it's just a come learn ninth with us kind of event. I'm not going to be rules hammering anybody. I want everybody to come out, with a new edition, and I want everybody to bring something fun that they want to play and just play around and enjoy the day.
Oh, definitely. Actually, well, here's a quick question, just like on my behalf, kind of wondering. So now with 9th edition coming out, and obviously GW kind of jumped on their own version of ITC ruling this and that. Do you think with the future of competitive gaming, this and that, like, so when you guys do like tournaments down the road, are you guys going to be continuing with the ITC format, or do you think you're going to be kind of digging into like the Games Workshop core rulebook missions or like secondaries and stuff like that?
For me, honestly, it'll be dependent on where the ITC goes and whether they want to adopt a lot of the GW things, which they said I think they've said that they will.
Mm.
Um, the ITC is a large entity in the competitive wargaming, competitive 40K world. So I'd like to wait and see where they fall on everything, because I
Okay.
know a lot of points are registered through them, and it's fun to track how you're doing throughout the year. But if Games Workshop comes out with a similar model, I wouldn't say no to hopping on board that either.
Okay.
Yeah, the ninth is young.
Yeah.
Well, there's
I guess
definitely a lot of to room to grow, definitely.
So, but yeah, I think that's and ITC has a kind of a special place for us here in New Brunswick. A prominent member of the ITC core group is from Moncton, New Brunswick. So I always try to give them their due, but they've done a lot for balancing out ITC like scenarios and how to run events. And to those of you who are concerned about ITC in 7th, let me tell you this: ITC 8th was completely different. It was basically just a tool to make a TO's job easier, which, let me tell you, was much appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it has a stigma around it, but it's just another scenario. Really, to me, it's just another scenario, just another way to play the game.
And a lot of times I find people that will actually kind of bash it a little bit. A lot of times it's the people that don't actually fully understand what it is. And I find and that can be kind of an intimidating thing going into it. Like, I know the first couple times I play an ICT tournament, like I was over my head. Like, I'm trying to read everything before my games. Like, okay, well, what do I choose against this? And then did I choose the wrong one? And then if somebody just gets in that wrong mindset, they're like, well, screw it. I don't like ITC. And then
it's a hill to climb. It's not a, you can pick it up though. You give yourself an event or two. You'll come out the other end, in my opinion, enjoying the game.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
Well, I mean, even I've played in some bigger events. Like, I went to Ottawa a couple times. Played in some of the big events in Canada. And let me tell you, by the end of the first event, you've learned a few things about what not to take at the next event. Somehow I still always fell for recon as a trap.
Oh, God, yeah.
Let's not go down that road.
You know what? I am still taking that.
Yeah.
It's like at the end of every game, I'm like, why did I take this?
Yeah. Oh,
well, see, I play Dark Eldar, so it usually kind of worked out for me, but.
Oh man! Well, just like when I play Eldar, man. But even by round 4, all my bikes have been shot off the board. So
no, definitely.
Good luck getting your recon.
I got that lonely Venom sitting in a corner. I'm like, please make my 5-up safe. Please make my 5-up safe.
Oh yeah. But that's I think like some of these experiences we're talking about, were not the height of gaming strategy and forethought. They were mistakes that we had a lot of fun telling stories about years later. And that's I think that's my biggest selling point to people who are looking to come out to events, was you're gonna build memories, and you're gonna experience the hobby in a whole new way.
And you get to play on some sweet terrain.
Oh man, that terrain is mwah. As soon as it gets into the province, I cannot wait for us to take that for a test ride.
And it makes such a difference, because I know at Level Up Wargaming, we actually have 1 or 2 tables where we took the time, we took the money, we actually got proper terrain, and everybody's like, oh, what table do you want to play on? I want to play on that one right there, because it's just so much more appealing. And it's just like you were saying earlier, it's like you theme your army, and then when you actually play on a themed table where it's not just a bunch of mismatches, like it makes you really immersed into the mission, being like, all right, well, on this planet, whenever I was reading this book, it kind of went like this, and like I said, it immerses you right into it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's huge.
How many tables are we bringing up from Ontario again?
15.
15.
Wow.
15 grand tournament style tables. Yeah, they were actually, I don't know if you've ever heard the Basement Collective.
Yes.
They were actually the Basement Collective's tables. up until we bought them.
So they're now a World's Edge team. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be rebranding the tables.
Yes. Just get your little stamp of approval in the bottom corner. Make it legit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think that's the big pitch we're making to everybody is, expect to see monthly tournaments, expect to see quarterly bigger events. Ambitiously, Chris and I are hoping to get a couple GTs, but there's also going to be fun things. I am aching to get a team event going, so that's going to require a bit of a bigger space. We are now set up with the tables to be able to do that. So expect to see that sometime in the next year.
I'm definitely excited for that.
I'd like to. I envisioned it as a Lions club, and I envisioned it as having 10 teams or 20 people. Maybe even 15 teams. Use all 15 tables. Depending on interest, but team events are always super fun, and super hilarious at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stamp of approval. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, no, perfect. So again, like you were saying a little bit earlier, that your first tournament kicking off is actually going to be this weekend, which is, I'm looking at my
The 15th.
Okay, so so for the listeners, like I said, I am hoping to have this up either tonight or tomorrow, so beforehand. But no, if you want to give just a little explanation on what actually is on this tournament, and I'll actually put a link in the comment section below to the actual Facebook page, because you guys set one up for the explanation of what's going to be. But yeah, just want to give a quick rundown just so everybody knows what your first event's going to be.
Okay. So for our first event, it's just going to be 1,000 points, 4 rounds. We're going to start at 9:30 at Gamesville St. John. I kind of said that lists would be due Thursday night, being tonight, but I'm not really going to hold anybody to that, I don't think. I would appreciate lists in. We set up an event on BCP. If you don't get a list in, it's fine. I'm okay with it. But we're having 16 people is our max this weekend. We're making sure, obviously with COVID, that we're trying to attempt social distancing. We have all the measures. It might seem a little excessive, but at the end of the day, I want everybody to feel comfortable coming in and having a good time. I guess a couple of measures I could go over. We're going to be entering the building. I'll be posting. I'll be posting opponents basically, and I'll be letting people go in two tables at a time. And then I'm going to say that there's not going to be a lot of loitering and kind of entering and leaving the building once we get the tables set up, hopefully. Masks will be mandatory. Again, just it's a closed building, 16 people, close quarters. We'll have lots of hand sanitizing, we'll have disinfectant. I was hoping to get some dice trays. Each person will get a dice tray, their own dice tray, kind of walk around, or if they want to bring their own, that would be amazing. Other than that, we are going to have a great time.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like it's going to be a great time.
And God knows, at least I know since COVID started, I am eager to put my models that, I have been painting on the table. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I know there's at least a few other people that feel the same way. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yep. I know we've all been working diligently, in quotations, with COVID being a thing and isolation being a thing that, paint. I know that I painted more of my models the past couple months than I did the past year and a half.
The pile of shame slowly makes its way.
Very slowly. Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been wanting to get some games in outside of my house, basically.
No, perfect. No, thank you guys so much for talking about World's Edge. So at this point, if you guys have any media outlets that you guys would like to shout out, I know yourself, you guys do a little bit of painting commission. Here's your time to shout out anything you can. We can start with you, Chris.
Yeah, so we do commissions. There's three of us. There's Alex, myself, and Alexi. If your pile of shame is a little too shameful, um, like quotes are free, and we do all kinds of different levels, right from tabletop right to what I like to call premium or like specialty level. We can do some pretty sweet characters. You can find us on Facebook at Fine Tip Painting. I know we have an Instagram. I don't personally use it, so I don't know what it is. I'm sure.
If we find it, I'll put it in the comment section below.
Yeah, I'm sure. I have a feeling it's just Fine Tip at Fine Tip maybe or something like that. But other than that, there's NB Wargaming for anybody out of province who's listening. It's basically New Brunswick's hub of it brings our New Brunswick community together on a Facebook page. People from all over the province. There's lots of general discussion, but it's also where a lot of events get posted or shared. It's a great resource for anybody out of province looking to come in and maybe enjoy some of our events. And then, of course, World's Edge Wargaming. We have a Facebook page. It is under construction. I think it's private right now, but we're working on it. And hopefully the next week or so we'll have it up and running so that people can join.
No, perfect.
Yeah, actually, I think you just plugged everything I wanted to plug. So
Sorry for
no
stealing
additional
your thunder.
plugging is required. I will say that the World's Edge page is up now, and I've also just recently created the community. So it's still under construction, but you are still able to start following, and you'll get all the posts.
Nope.
Yeah.
Coming out of this next tournament.
Yeah, just for World's Edge, if like people are interested in events, I would highly recommend that they give us a like. Not just for the sake of us getting likes. It's where the main platform we will be using to show our events or to like basically notify people about our events. Like we'll share to other groups, but World's Edge is what we're going to be working off of.
Yeah.
Just so our posts don't get, like when we share things, they kind of get knocked to the bottom quite quickly. On just for general banter and chatter on
No,
the
definitely.
Facebook groups. So.
Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Nope. Sorry, no, Danny, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say, and as you guys are going to be doing so, like a lot of the tournament system that I know us on Boulders and Heretics Gaming, we're going to be more than welcome to like start posting it on our site too. And we're going to start putting it like kind of pinning it at the top. And I think I mentioned to you a couple of days ago, Alex, what I'm going to try to do on our actual page is kind of make like an events calendar. So whenever you guys do have the tournaments all set up, and this actually goes to anybody that's listening right now, if you guys have tournaments going on in your area and you want people to hear about a little bit more, please contact me at Boulders and Heretics Gaming, and I'll be more than happy to post it on the contact, or not the contact, but like the scheduling events. So whenever you actually go to it, you can actually go month to month and be like, all right, well, what's going on in what area this month? And that's my goal personally, is to have a one place where anybody can go and see New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, what are all the events going on, when, where do I go to learn about this? And I'm hopefully going to have links to, because most of the times people will actually make a Facebook page group that gives the whole breakdown of everything going on. So all those links will hopefully be there for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that NB Wargaming has really grown as a group over the last number of years, to the point now where it's kind of a landing place for anybody who's just kind of trying to figure out what there is that, in the province. And it's not limited to Warhammer. There's, a thriving Legion community. There's a thriving Song of Ice and Fire, Bolt Action, Flames of War. There's plenty of games that are seeing traction on NB Wargaming. So what the World's Edge, the difference is going to be is it's going to focus entirely on discussions around our tournaments. So it's not to replace NB Wargaming in any way. It's meant to be kind of a bulletin board of info you need to know about our events and maybe some discussions surrounding events after the fact, or questions you might have about those events, so they don't just get buried and then be worried.
Yeah,
Um,
because I find you do see that on a lot of pages. Like you said, like unless it's pinned to the very top, it's going to get buried within the next 30 comments and posts. And so it does make it very difficult, because like I've caught myself many times be like, I didn't know there was a tournament, but then notice as I scroll down, I was like, oh, it was posted about a month ago.
Yeah.
yeah, and especially when you're like posting information as it becomes available, venue, time, prize pool, specific rules, updates on facts, or erratas. It's helpful to have all that pinned in one specific location. So all that will be found at World's Edge for our events. And
Nice.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with Bolters and Heretics as well, as we, we're obviously specifically talking about the tournaments that we run, but having the community in the province or in Atlantic Canada in general growing. And one thing I will encourage is, I know there's a fairly sizable community in Maine. They're not too far from us.
Mhm.
So
I guess one last thing too, Fredericton folk in Ormocto, like we are currently basing this out of St. John just because we have a wonderful venue down there. We are considering and looking for a venue in and around the Fredericton area to potentially host like basically bounce back and forth between St. John and Fredericton. We just don't have a venue right now. Gamesville St. John is big and it can hold lots of people, and it's just the best place for us to be hosting them right now. But if anybody knows of I don't know, a Lions Club or a community hall or something like that in and around the Fredericton area, that could be rented for free or cheap, let us know.
Mhm. Well, thank you very much, Alex and Chris, for joining me on this episode and explain to us what World's Edge Gaming is.
Please, thanks for having us.
thank you,
Appreciate
and
it.
loving all the work you're doing.
Thanks a lot, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good night, everybody.